in Queens, Doug and Carrie Heffernan, Kevin James, and Leah Remini. You guys look beautiful.
Yes, we didn't try, we just
wake up, roll out of bed.
You can probably see all the ring lights in my glasses, the 50,000 ring lights that are strategically placed. Kevin, same? Just kidding.
I do have lights today. This is amazing.
It's good to
this
see
is amazing. Leah!
Unlike most people who have done a show together, Kevin and I have stayed in touch, so we talk all the time.
Yes. But it's good to see you anyway.
Always good to see you.
Love you.
And congratulations on your new show on Netflix, Kevin.
Oh, thank you. You mean the crew? I would never promote anything during a charity thing as this because it would be, I don't know, just below me. But the crew on Netflix, thank you. I appreciate that, Leah. And congratulations to you with your Scientology show. It's amazing. And not only that,
also on Netflix.
Also on Netflix. And do I also see you on another show? Game show?
That's funny that you bring that up, Kevin.
Yes.
I am also hosting a game show called People Puzzler on the Game Show Network.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Love you.
As close as you are now and all the seasons that you work together, we know where you stand today. Take me back to the first impression that you had of each other.
We were looking for the female lead, the lead of the show. And we couldn't find anybody. And I did I guess a fake table read. What do they call it? Just a table read to see if a show would ever go with Tony Danza. And Leah was there. And I was literally in love. I was like, this girl is amazing. She's so funny and this and that. But the problem was she was on a show already, I think, right? It was...
Yeah, so what happened was I was just coming off of a show that got canceled. So I go in, I meet you, Kevin, and you immediately started making fun of me going, I'm sorry, were you busy collecting unemployment? I'm sorry, did we interrupt all that to offer you a job? Immediately, I was like, I don't even care what the script is. I just love this guy so much. And that I was like, yes.
We had a blast.
You remember that, Kev?
I do. I remember you coming in and being a little like about having to do it. And I was nervous. I was still nervous, but I was like, I got to do this. It's either going to work or it's not going to work.
Right.
You're going to get very mad at me and upset, but it worked.
Sometimes you just have an instant connection with people.
I knew right away. Like we hit it off right away and it was there and it was just, that was it. The best.
And I said this before, with or without Kevin here, that he is one of the rare men in this town that I want to work with and would do anything with.
You're the sweetest, and I feel the same.
No, it's true. It's true. Kevin was always the man saying, like, give Leah more stuff, give Jerry more stuff, give them the laughs, and that's very giving. And it's, to me,
there's a selfish angle to it because you guys were so good that the better you guys were and the more you had, the less I had, and the better I look, in a way, because it's like when you're playing tennis with, fantastic people, it's like, you got to stay in there. And honestly, you guys, there was nobody better. And
that's what a leading man would say.
No, it's the truth. It is the truth. So anyway, I love her.
Did people think there were some, because we have fan questions later, did they think that you were a real married couple outside of the show sometimes?
Yeah, because we did have a relationship and still do have a real relationship of, like, we were very honest with each other. A lot of cast like to run around saying, like, we're like a family. And I'm like, do you guys ever fight? You guys ever not talk to each other? No. And I'm like, then you're not a family. So don't stop with the bull. Yeah. So I would yell at him if he was taking too long, or he would yell at me if I was, and let's go. And I was like, let's go. I was waiting. And it's like the same dialogue. Yeah. Right. It's the same dialogue that was happening in my house with my husband, and the same with Kevin. It was just, it was like we were work husband and wife. And when people saw that, I think people saw that chemistry and were like, are you guys really? And nobody on the East Coast was saying that, or the Midwest. It was just California people.
I was swinging for the fences when I landed you. I was.
Kevin, it's not even like you were swinging to, first of all, you're married to a model.
Okay? Yeah, I did well.
Kevin would be somebody that I would date. And that's not even a thing where Kevin's here and I'm here. That's not
You would have dated me, really?
You know that. I've said that many times too. And you wear cologne, so like,
is it,
that's one on my
oh,
list.
this is awkward.
Number one on my list. You know that. You know that.
Do I still, I like, you would have dated, really?
You know what, Kevin? Shut up. Stop it.
I just feel like I made a big mistake in my life now. I don't even know what I don't even know what to do. 4 kids is not that many, right? If I just abandon.
No. And they know me.
You said you keep in touch a lot. It's like you see each other every day. Is there FaceTimes? Is it a group chat? What is it?
It's FaceTime, it's texting, it's group texting. Like I said, we're all very close, and we always get on a group text with each other.
I miss you. To the best.
Always.
You miss each other. What's one thing that you miss being on that set?
It was amazing. It was an amazing family. Everybody was great. And like, we never went home. We would we played cards after, we'd crack beers and smoke cigars and have some fun. And
then we got into like a moment of karaoke. We'd go to a karaoke bar after. Like, we had many moments. But what's important about one of the things that I really loved about working with Kevin was there was a place backstage off the kitchen where we would come out to get introduced to the audience. And it's just like wood planks, you know how behind the set is, just the wood planks. And we used to write down things on that. And, there was like Jerry used to write notes back there, of his lines when he would come out. And Kevin started this from the very beginning, goes, let's remember this moment because one day we won't be here. And that started in season 1.
From jump, you already knew that this was.
We knew. Yeah. Well, I knew it was such a great group and that we were a family immediately. And, we were always still, in the beginning, we were nervous getting picked up and all that because we weren't the Shining show. We weren't Friends or Everybody Loves Raymond.
Right.
But I knew we were a show that like people were going to catch on and dig it.
If you could sum up what this show means to you, and I know that's a very difficult question to try to do in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
For me, it's absolutely everything. It's my baby. It is. I mean, from being introduced and to my wife through Leah, helping me get to meet my wife, to literally having, my 4 children, our families together. It's the greatest part of my life, and it will always be. It was the greatest time of my life, and so happy to share it with the greatest people, and they're in my life, thank God. Now, this was my family, this was my core, and it'll always be my greatest baby.
It's same for me because it was so many firsts. It was like first success, but it was also, more importantly, our families were combined. Our families were at every episode that they can be at, and they sat at the same place every week, and we had a routine, and we, like Kevin said, we got married on the show, we had our first babies, we were able to give our families things that we never imagined we could give them, so there were a lot of firsts in this show, and it's very special. So many memories wrapped up in this show that were so special to us.
It really was amazing.
Listen, I think it's time. We want to bring on some more wonderful actors from the.
Oh, what? What's up, Patton? How are you guys? Victor, look at you guys. Gary, are you?
Gary, what's up, man?
Michael Whitehorn.
The hell? Man, I have this app that alerts me if anyone is talking about me on Zoom at all. I just jumped right in.
Nicole Sullivan.
Oh!
What? Hi, Nick.
Hi, sweetness.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
By the way, did you guys sign up for the full Zoom where you don't have to, like, guess after an hour, it stops you? You know what I'm talking about for the trial? Just making sure. I'm just trying to avoid an embarrassing moment later. That's all.
Good catch.
Thanks.
You know what? Let's hurry this along then.
Quick speed read. Come on.
Who wants to jump in first about, what they miss or how's everyone doing? If you want to say hello to everybody, that would be great.
Do you miss playing Galaga in my room and being beat by me at all?
Yes, I miss. Leah had a stand-up Galaga machine, and like a true badass, it wasn't one of those stand-up machines where you can select like 20 different games. She was committed. It was just Galaga, and we would keep playing, and she was such a hustler at it. And oh my God, I missed
And,
that.
and here's what's so funny. Like I would be in my dressing room and Patton would just come in and go, I'm just like, I'd be on the phone.
Yeah.
Sometimes in a robe, and he'd be like, I'm just gonna.
Just ignore me. Like
I'm just.
A lot of time waiting on set going, where's Leah Patton?
Oh, he's on the 8th challenging stage. Yeah, we can't pull him out now. Throw more candy at the audience right now. He's got to complete the whole loop.
I got a message from Chris Kiley, who was our second AD. It was like season 2, saying I wasn't allowed to play Galaga. I don't know why, but I just never played it. So,
Vic, you're such a liar, Vic.
I hated it. I hated it all. I hated the Galaga.
Really?
Oh, couldn't stand
I know,
it.
but you and the writers, Michael White. What was the game that you guys got obsessed with? The card game, because
right?
that was going on.
Gin Rummy.
Yeah.
Was it Rummy?
Gin Rummy was the game.
Oh, and F Your Neighbor was a big one.
Yes.
Fridays.
F Your Neighbor, yes.
Those pots would get so huge, and it got tense. It got kind of tense.
And Friday Night Bingo. Friday Night Bingo.
Thousands of dollars changed hands on a daily basis. It was crazy. Yeah. Friendships were destroyed.
That evolved to the trips to Vegas. You remember the trips to Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, my Zoom's running out, so you want to just pick it up a little bit?
Only about the 5
I
minutes.
haven't worked in a while, so let's go.
What's the one thing you miss about this crew?
Oh, I miss the crew. The crew was amazing. Yeah, I miss
More specifically
Linda, our
us.
script
Nick, more
supervisor.
specifically us. More specifically, what do you miss?
And
about
then
us?
I miss the cast. And then I
More specifically, me.
you know what, I miss being on a show where if you're in your dressing room and you just walk out to craft service, or you have to cross stage to go to the wardrobe or whatever. I miss anytime you would walk nearby any scene rehearsing, you would laugh because they would be funny.
Talking to Kevin and Leah, they were saying how much of a family it was, and a real family. So how deep is this family? And when's the last time everyone's kind of been around each other or in person? I know it's a little bit of hard times. We can't see each other really, but when's the last time we've all kind of hung out?
It's been a while.
Probably the last time we were all together was the wrap party of the series.
Yeah.
Room.
But we all follow each other's work. I mean, Kevin's YouTube channel is nonstop great.
Oh, yeah.
Time and all,
The stand-up specials. We've been watching that. It just
Kevin, your new show is hilarious.
Oh, thank you.
It's hilarious. Like, we binged watched it, and then I had to go to do something with my kids, and my husband finished it without me.
Who's your husband, Nicole?
Yeah.
I don't know if you met him. He's got a gap in his tooth.
Oh, yes, I know him. Pearson. Yeah.
David Letterman?
Hey, that's the other thing. You want to talk about how you met your husband? This is why this show was so special to a lot of us.
This is why King of Queens is forever my favorite place to be. Was I met my husband on set. I hit on him at a Christmas party, and I asked if he wanted to make out in my dressing room, and he said no.
He was the first one to say no, right? And that's what
piqued my. I mean, everyone has said yes, Kevin. Everyone.
Including me.
Exactly.
Yes.
Mike, I'll ask this of you, seeing everyone together right now, what is so special about everyone here, and why did this show, and still to this day in 2021, people watch it? New people are coming on, fans that have been there for the 9 seasons. Like, why is this show so special?
I spent like my whole life, even before I was working as a writer, immersed in loving comedy. And once I started working in the business, the idea of assembling a thing that could produce comedy that would really not only make people laugh, but resonate with them emotionally and stay with them. Doing that is nearly impossible. I mean, you can write a good script, you can cast good actors, but having it all sort of gel into something that works as a cohesive whole is almost impossible. And there's a lot of luck involved. And, I look at this group of people and remember Jerry, and the fact that, we just had power hitters at every position, and it all worked together. was just an astounding bit of good fortune for all of us. This is the best group of people I've ever had a chance to work with, and it's a thrill to be back, doing this with all you guys again. And I just really miss those days. It was really a lot of fun. We really had a great time.
Yeah, it was.
Victor, this question's for you. Favorite memory on set?
It's a series of the thing I'm gonna say is like Kevin. Kev would kind of like coast through the week, like he just like he knew his lines, like he knew what he was doing. And so me as a I think I'm with the exception of, well, that's not true. But in terms of the guys, I would say between like Patton and Gary and Kevin, they all sort of come from a stand-up background. And so me as like the actor guy, I was always like wanting to rehearse and like give it my all from day one. And then Kev would just sort of chill Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And all of a sudden, like it was nothing. Just like I was stressed the entire week, and like the lights go up and Kev was just on fire, man. And it's just like, it was something that amazed me, astounded me all the time. I was sort of the guy who would always try to stick what was written and not sort of venture out because I was afraid. And then Kev would just come up with this like stuff that was phenomenal. And it blew me away every Friday night when we shot it. That was the thing that always.
That's sweet of you, Vic. But what you call coasting during the week was the fact that I couldn't read. And Michael, remember you took me backstage and you would rehearse with me over and over again until Friday night. It would finally hit me, and then I finally just had it from memory, and I would go out and spew
I would sound out the words to you.
Yeah.
Remember carry. Say it like you shall carry.
If you watch some of the episodes, you can see my eyes still on Michael, kind of off to the side.
And then I'd give him a little biscuit after each scene. And
yes, I remember that.
It worked.
You have to edit out this part of the scene because I'd always, after I got my biscuit, I'd be like that, just very happy.
My dogs were always jealous. There was
yes. That's very sweet of you.
Vic is saying, like, to add on to what Vic is saying, is like, I think what happened is like when people would come on our show, I think after a while they realized like, oh, okay, it's not that serious. Like Kevin, the way we would approach it is like, don't worry, you'll get there. Don't worry, you'll get there. And like people coming from different experiences would come and go, oh my God, I need to know exactly the lines. And then when they would come, they'd see like, we're not, like Kevin and I would be behind the set talking about, what we're eating that night or what we were doing. And, since then, it's like I've experienced other actors who were like, just going over like, what, where am I coming from? Where am I going to? And we were just like, just do it. It'll be funny. Right.
Yeah. But, I got to say, it didn't start that way. I remember, in the beginning, it was, I was so controlling and I was nervous, by the way. First, I remember
Of course. Yeah.
I remember standing outside the door. I was coming in for my first entrance. I remember I got to come in, carry him home or whatever it is. And I literally remember my heart like pounding and all this stuff. And it was, man, it's just learning the timing of all that stuff. And it's trusting the writers. It took a long time for me to do that, to realize how great they are and to let them do their thing. And when they did that, I had much funnier stuff than when I tried to control it myself.
Because you guys do stand up, right? Like Patton and Gary, like you guys come from that kind of stand up. It's like, you could rehearse it all you want. You got to get out there. You don't know what's going to happen. And, a lot of times I've ruined takes because, Kevin would do something on a Friday, that I had never seen before. And Michael, I think you could attest to that when I would just, turn my back to the camera completely in hopes that I could get away with laughing, and how many takes that I ruined and how many, because Kevin was just, he would do something with his hands or do something that would make me laugh. And I just couldn't keep it together. But
that was with everybody. Like when Gary and Patton were in that kind of relationship, anytime they enter and they'd be arguing in their apartment, I break up. Vic, when you had to reel the big bald head on top of your head. Remember that? I couldn't look at you, man. I could not look at you.
By the way, Kev, you and Carrie, obviously there was such great chemistry, and you guys are so funny as it was. But Victor, I'm not just saying this. You're like the funniest straight man there is.
Yeah. You were the guy.
You made me laugh so much.
Yes.
And I remember there was one scene where Pat and I were wrestling for vacation or something.
Yeah.
You were going to referee us, and just the way you were on the couch, like me and Pat, after a while we sensed our timing, we got it down. And when our relationship became that almost marriage,
Yes.
not married, but almost
Bad
married.
marriage, but it was a marriage.
But you just sit on a couch and you just jumping in with your lines. The timing was impeccable. It was insane. And I always used to sit back and go, the straight man, how funny is he? He's not even that straight,
I mean, I got to tag off of what Victor and Leah were saying, though, that Kevin really did this thing once, and you got comfortable very quickly. You're not giving yourself enough credit. We were all nervous at the beginning, and then you very quickly got into every single take of a scene at the live read, you would end on a different joke. You and Nick Bakine, the other writers, were constantly coming up. So it was a surprise to you to say it, which is a very real life thing. Like, oh, I just thought of this thing to say. And then it buoyed everyone. Everyone got kind of up. And then the audience was like, oh, what's going to happen on this next take? So it kept these live readings, these live tapings so lively. And I think we get a much better reaction from the audience. And that's another thing that really keeps the show alive, I think. And
I agree with you. And that was the writers, man, because, you end up looking like the genius. Everybody in the crowd thinks it's you. But it's, they don't see Nick handing you his little slice of paper or Michael coming up and giving you a little line here. Or, that was the thing. And all you had to do is just say it without stumbling it. Don't try to, and push it. But they're amazing group.
Well, like Michael said, it all came together with the writing and the actors,
Yeah. And Kevin, your nonverbal stuff is like Danny DeVito, Jackie Gleason level. Just these little movements you make. There's one where you decided to be vegetarian and you put these glasses on and Kerry whips them off and you take another, like the way you take him, this extra, it was all just, it was like watching a dance.
For me, the hardest was looking at Jerry. Jerry, honestly, there was nobody, a foot away from just having him read his lines, and he would move a body part. It had nothing to do with a line. You would be a crank of a neck, or you don't even know where it would come from. An arm would flip out out of nowhere, and it would just floor me.
It's obvious the love that you all have for each other. It's continuing to grow as we're sitting here right now. But I think it's time. The folks want this. We're going to return to our favorite borough for a little bit. I'm going to hand it over now to co-creator and executive producer, Michael Whitehorn.
We're going to read an episode from the 5th season called Cowardly Lion. But there's a little problem. I just realized there's one guest star in the episode, the role of Denise, that was played by Rachel Dratch, and we don't have anyone to read that part. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do about that. There she is, Rachel Dratch. Rachel Dratch.
Rachel!
Yeah.
Hey, Rachel, how are you?
Hi. How are you?
Hi.
What's up?
Hi. How's it going?
Oh,
How are you, honey?
it's been so long.
I know, it's so good to see you.
Look great.
This is exciting.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my
Thanks
God.
for joining us. Well, we're going to read the episode called Cowardly Lion. It was written by one of our stellar writers on the show, Alana Wernick. The original version that was shot, directed by Rob Schiller, and I will try to do justice to his reading of stage directions at the table read right now as I do this. All right, here we go. Cowardly Lion. Cold open, fade in. Interior living room. Doug setting up the game Battleship at the table. Carrie enters from upstairs, thumbing through TV guide.
Hey, I'm trying to remember. What was that show we liked last week? Was it The Practice, The District, or The Agency?
I think it was the Flintstones. Doesn't matter anyway. We're going to be skipping the old boob tube tonight.
Battleship? Where'd you dig this up?
Well, I was in the attic looking for Twister, which I was hoping we could play naked, and I stumbled on this, which we could also play naked.
I don't think I want to play naked.
Mind if I'm naked?
Very much.
Fair enough. All right, come on. Let's get cracking here.
All right, let's get it on.
All right. It's all you.
All right. B5.
Miss. C7.
Miss.
E2.
Miss. E7.
Miss. F1.
Ooh. And that's a miss. A9.
Miss. G4.
Miss. F2.
Miss. B8.
Miss. TV now.
He puts on the TV and we.
Cause maybe all my life I will be driving home to you.
All right, interior living room day. Doug, Carrie, Spence, and Denise are having dinner.
So I'm working the counter at the bowling alley, and Spence returns his shoes. I'm about to spray them, and he says, "Don't bother." Then he takes out this travel shoe sprayer, like he's James Bond or something. I had to ask him out right on the spot.
Hey, you're only human.
Actually, most women are turned on by his asthma inhaler, but for me, it's always been the bite plate.
Don't tease.
It's with love.
Anyway, since it's been a month of heaven, right, cutie?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, except for dun dun dun, the incident.
Uh-oh!
Denise bought me the ugliest contact paper for my kitchen drawers.
It's adorable!
It's not, but look, if she likes teddy bears wearing aprons, I support that. It's part of who you are.
Like line dancing is part of who you are.
Exactly.
Plus, there's plenty of things we both like La Boheme.
Oh, okay, they're a cute couple, but they just turned a bad corner.
Actually, I really want to see La Boheme. I love the opera.
Since when?
Since I was a kid, I saw Rigoletto after some Sorority Hornblaster's bat mitzvah. Sorry, should have read this before.
I don't understand one word in that sentence, and I'm not going.
Doug, I felt the same as you until I saw it. I went to mock, but I stayed to rock.
Please don't make me go.
We'll talk about it later, sweetie. We're coming.
Interior living room. A few days later, Doug, Deacon, and Danny enter in their uniforms. They're carrying takeout Chinese and a few 6-packs of soda. Doug picks up the mail from the floor into the mail slot, turns on the lights. During the following, Doug drops the mail, and he and the guys settle in and watch TV, opening boxes of Chinese food, popping open cans of soda, etc.
Okay, boys, time for a little Mushu and March Madness.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Favorite time of year. Okay, let's fire this sucker up. Who we got?
Okay, our choices are Xavier versus Valparaiso, however you say that, UTEP versus Yukon, and Southern Illinois versus American Samoa. Deke?
I think this is Samoa's year.
Well, hey, turn it down a second. I got a message here.
Deke turns down the TV. Doug presses the button on the machine. Beep.
Hey, hon, it's me. Listen, one of the partners can get me 2 free tickets tonight for La Boheme. I have to let them know by 6 or he's going to give them to someone else. I promise you'll have a good time. Call me before 6, okay? Love you.
Beep.
Damn it!
Hey, La Boheme, good for you. Hey, you know what I'm doing tonight? Not seeing La Boheme.
Oh, snap.
You know it.
You know what? I'm not seeing it either. I just got to think of a way out of this.
Well, just tell Carrie you're watching hoops. You don't want to go.
That's a good idea. Only problem is, I don't really want one of her boots in this area. Okay.
Then you're going to the opera, boy. You best get your mind right.
Wait a minute. Wait, I can't go to the opera if I never heard Carrie's message, right? And I couldn't have heard the message if I had to work late. That's it. Okay, look, pick up everything, guys. Get it up. We're getting out of here.
What? I just rolled my first Mushu.
Yeah, well, you know what? You can eat it on the bus ride home. Come on. We gotta get it. We gotta get this room exactly the way it was when we walked in. Let's go.
Danny and Deacon rise start to gather up the food beverages. Doug does so as well with a charged energy, as they do.
Ah, man.
That's it. Next time we watch the game at the divorce guy's house.
Yeah, don't forget anything, all right? Don't forget, Carrie's got eyes like a hawk.
Hey, Deke, give me a napkin. There's a little plum sauce on the table.
Doug hands him a napkin just as Danny is about to wipe the sauce.
Hold it.
He stops. Doug comes over, sticks his pinky in the blot of sauce on the table, tastes it.
It's not plum sauce. That's jelly from yesterday morning. That stays. Okay, let's go. Come on.
Doug picks up the mail. He and Danny and Deacon go to the front door, start to exit. Doug turns off the light, starts to exit, then stops, turns to survey the room.
Let's go.
Wait a second. Something's wrong.
We see the answering machine.
Answering machine.
Guys follow Doug back in. Deacon flicks on the light.
What about it?
The light isn't flashing anymore. She'll know I checked the message.
And we're back at the opera.
No. Just call me from your cell and leave a message, and the light will flash again. Both messages will play as new.
I don't want to get in the middle of this. I'm rather fond of this area.
Fine, Danny, you do it.
Really? Thanks. So what do I say?
I don't know. Okay, just say, "Hey, Doug, it's Danny. Give me a call later."
But what am I calling about?
That doesn't matter.
Of course it matters. Am I happy? Am I sad? Do I have big news?
All right. You know what? I can't watch this anymore.
Thank you.
Got to get me some black friends.
Doug's phone rings. Answering machine picks up.
Yeah. Hey, man. Sorry you got roped into the late shift. Listen, remember to bring my Coltrane CD to work tomorrow. Major Kirby, I told you to quit unbuckling Major's car seat. Boy, I will pull over and leave you behind on the BQE. Is that what you want, huh? You want to live on the highway? That all right?
I got chills. Let's go.
The guys go to the back door and exit. Mail drops through the slot into the living room. And we interior living room, kitchen, yard. Later, Carrie enters the dark living room, switches on the light, picks up the mail, etc.
Doug?
In the kitchen, Doug in uniform is in the backyard, his face practically pressed against the back door window. Carrie crosses toward the kitchen.
Doug, where are you?
Doug goes into the kitchen. Carrie enters. Just as he does, Doug enters through the back door as if he just arrived home.
Oh, hey, hon.
You're just getting home?
Yeah. I got stuck with the late shift at the last minute. What do you got there? What is it, the mail?
Yeah. I left a message for you before. I had a chance to get La Boheme tickets tonight from one of the partners.
What can I tell you? Gosh, Nick Ferruno's wife went into labor. Just what we need, another one of him, right?
Carrie heads back to the living room. Doug, sensing he's not completely out of the woods, follows. Carrie heads towards the answering machine.
We get any messages?
Well, I know there's one for me.
It's play.
Hey, hon, it's me. Listen, one of the partners can get...
It's Skip. Deacon's message plays. Beep.
Hey, man. Sorry you got roped into the late shift. Listen, remember to bring my Coltrane CD to work tomorrow. Kirby, I told you to quit unbuckling Major's car seat. Boy, I will pull over and leave you behind right here in the BQE. Is that what you want, huh? You want to live on the highway?
Beep. Carrie stops what she's doing, her attention called back to the answering machine by something.
Huh.
Crosses to the machine. Doug watches her nervously.
What are you doing?
I just want to hear something again.
She rewinds, plays it only louder this time.
Leave you behind right here in the BQE. That what you want, huh? You want to live on the highway?
It's distinctive. Doug starts to look even more nervous.
Hey, did you know we have another outlet over here? Come here, you got to see that. You got to check it out. See it.
Carrie hits the message again.
You want to live on the highway?
Carrie heads into the kitchen. Doug follows.
Hey, you know what? Let's go out for pizza right now, like two crazy kids. Come on, who's hungry for fun?
Carrie ignores him, goes to the backyard. In the backyard, Carrie looks around toward the recycling bin.
What are you doing?
Carrie takes a soda can from the bin, tosses it against the fence. Doug's eyes go wide in terror. He drops the CDs in his hand.
Oh my God, that was Pepper barking on the tape. Deacon didn't call from his car. He called from inside our house.
No. I think probably what happened is Pepper got out and was chasing Deacon's car on the highway. Oh, damn it. Keep your gate closed. Gosh, I'm going to talk to him. I'll talk to them.
He starts to go. She blocks him.
Doug? Deacon left a phony message from her house. Why would he do that?
We're both pretty tense. Okay, I say we go get that pizza.
What the hell is going on?
Look, shoot, I don't know. I don't know.
Doug, you tell me what's going on, or so help me, I will kill you. And I don't mean the funny kind of kill you, like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill you. I mean, I will stop your heart.
All right, I was home, okay? I heard your stinking message. I had Deacon leave another one to make the light blink again. Then I left and waited in the car till you got home.
So you'd rather sit in your car for 3 hours than sit in a theater for 2?
It's an opera. They sing every word in foreign.
Oh my God, I can't.
He storms back in the house. Doug follows.
Carrie!
In the living room, Carrie enters, followed by Doug.
Get away from me.
But it was my only way out.
No, it wasn't. If you were an adult, you would have said, honey, I really don't want to see La Boheme, and that would have been the end of it.
I did say that, and it wasn't the end of it. It's never the end of it until you crush me to dust.
Oh, really? I crush you to dust, Doug. I can't even roll you off my arm when you're sleeping, okay? I mean, I've considered chewing it off.
Okay, I got a couple pounds on you. Okay, no argument there. But don't kid yourself. You're the one who rules the relationship.
Oh, okay, Doug. How do I rule the relationship?
With fear.
Hmm.
That's right. You scared me.
I scare you.
Yeah, I said it. And frankly, you know what? I'm a little scared that I said it.
Oh my God, you are so full of crap.
Not crap, terror.
Oh, terror now. Okay, right. You know what I think? I think this isn't about you being scared of me. It's about you being a selfish baby and trying to cover it up.
Because I'm scared of you. Look, Carrie, I don't like having to lie all the time, except for our marriage. I'm a pretty honest guy.
You do this stuff all the time?
Yes, I do.
Really? Like what? Okay, give me an example.
Okay. Well, you remember when you were so upset because the guys at the car wash shorted out the power seats?
Yeah.
Well, it was actually me. I was working 2 buttons at once, trying to see if I could get it to buck, like an urban cowboy, you know? Trying to get it going.
But I got a letter of an apology from Enrique.
Well, that was me, writing lefty.
Okay. I knew gracias wasn't spelled with a Z. Okay. What else?
Well, I often eat a pre-dinner Whopper when I'm driving home from work. You know why you don't smell it on me? Because I change uniforms in the garage. Yeah, I got uniforms stashed all over this place.
Oh, okay. Well, that one's deceitful and self-destructive. Kudos.
Look, I do what I have to keep this marriage running smoothly. Okay, you just see the sausage. You don't see how it's made.
Okay, are you listening to yourself? I'm not the one who's scary. You're the one who's scary.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm so scary, how come they didn't make a horror movie called Doug? Huh? Okay, Carrie. Yeah.
He storms out. End of Act 1. Act 2. Interior kitchen next day. Carrie is sitting drinking coffee, lost in thought, clearly troubled. There's a knock on the back door. Holly enters.
Hey, hope this isn't a bad time.
Oh, no, Holly, come on in.
I just want to go over my bill for walking your dad. I don't want you to think I cooked the books or anything.
Sure.
Holly sits, pulls out a piece of paper.
Okay, on the 15th, I have a charge for 89 cents because I bought biscuits for the other dogs and Arthur got jealous and demanded marshmallow peeps.
Oh, can I ask you a question?
I know. When did the price of peeps go up? I was stunned.
No, that's not it. You find me scary?
You know what? I'm just going to pay for the peeps myself.
please, I'm serious. I really need to know. I mean, how do you feel when you're around me? Like right now? Happy. Holly, I'm looking right at you and I am not seeing happy.
Okay, I can do better. I can do better.
Look, all I want is an honest answer to my question. I mean, is that too much to ask? I mean, I think we've been pretty damn good to you.
Oh God, are you gonna fire me?
No, I am not gonna fire you. I just need you to answer the question.
What?
Am I scary?
No.
Holly!
Yes. I've been scared of you since the day we met.
What do you know?
Carrie exits the living room, leaving a shell-shocked Holly. Through your bedroom day. Doug's on the bed reading a magazine. Carrie pokes her head through the door as Jack Nicholson.
Here's Carrie.
Hey,
Relax. I come in peace.
really? You're not mad anymore?
No.
You sure? Because I was gonna go out and get you flowers. I wanted to do that.
That one of your little lies?
No, technically that was it was a bluff.
Ah.
I really am sorry. Okay, I mean I said some rough things last night, but I was just flailing. You're great.
I can be scary sometimes, and I don't like that about myself.
Well, hey, I'm pretty selfish, and my lying thing is just way out of control.
You know what it is? Sometimes we just bring out the worst in each other, but it doesn't have to be that way. We could have a much more honest, supportive relationship if we're just willing to work on it.
Well, sign me up for that.
Doug gives her an affectionate kiss on the forehead, smiles, returns to his magazine.
Doug?
Yeah.
But we're going to work on it.
Now? Oh, I don't know. I think this is the kind of thing you want to. You start tomorrow, like a diet, right?
If you start this like you start a diet, we're gonna have to get our relationship some mighty big pants.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Let's work on it. So what do we do?
Well, okay. Why don't you try being honest with me about something you would normally hide, and I'll try to respond without making you poop yourself.
All right. Let me see. Here we go. Our visa bill. Have you looked at it?
Not yet.
Well, on it, there's a charge from a video company for GGW.
Hmm?
That stands for Girls Gone Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was planning on telling you that GGW stood for George Washington.
Huh. And what were you going to say the middle G stood for?
Gary.
Okay. No, I'm just curious to know, in a supportive, non-scary way, of course, why you got a Girls Gone Wild video in the first place.
Okay, now that's a good question, and I support that question. There's something about the going wild process that just fascinates me.
Right. It's just that I understand why men who aren't married to attractive women go for that kind of thing, but just
I do. And yet.
So where is this video?
It's in the My Fair Lady box.
Oh, okay. And then where's My Fair Lady?
At Spence's, in a Girls Gone Wild box.
Okay, then. Thanks for telling me.
Thanks for not getting upset.
No problem.
One other thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to race car driving school.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Jimmy at work, his uncle runs a place. It's every Saturday for like 2 months.
And what lie were you planning on telling me when you snuck out every Saturday?
I hadn't thought of it yet, probably something medical.
I see. I see. Well, Doug,
Ooh, little scary with the Doug there. Just
Doug,
Mhm.
honey, I don't think I can support race car driving because I'd rather support you continuing to live.
I respect that. And
Okay.
yet I ask that you support me anyway, as that is what a supportive relationship indeed is.
Fine. Then in our new spirit of mutual respect and support, would you come with me to see Lyin?
No, I won't, but thank you for asking. And by the way, I gotta say, you've never been less scary.
That's her affectionately and exits. Interior brunch place a few days later. Carrie and Denise are eating.
Gee, it was so sweet of you to invite me to lunch, Carrie.
Well, I mean, you're dating your Spence, and he's our friend, so
Oh, so is this like a tradition? When Spence gets a new girlfriend, you take her to lunch to check her out?
Hasn't really come up that much, but actually, I just wanted to pick your brain about something.
Oh, well, fine. Just leave a little for me.
Yes, I noticed that you and Spence really respect and support each other.
Oh, yes. In our relationship, that's job one.
Yeah, but what happens when he does something that you don't like?
Well, I just try to put his feelings and desires above my own.
Right. Like the thing is, I'm doing that with Doug right now, and I gotta be honest, ain't loving it.
Oh, what's the matter?
I don't know. I guess I miss being able to express my feelings. To yell at him when I need to yell, to really unload on him. Like, just the fear in his eyes.
Oh, well, I guess sometimes I feel that way a little, but I just deal with it.
How?
Well, for instance, this Sunday is our 6-week anniversary, and Spence is missing it to go to his Dark Shadows convention. But I'm okay with it because I know it's important to him.
What? So Dark Shadows? What is that?
It was like kind of a soap opera from a long time ago with vampires, I think. But like I said, I'm okay with it because I know it's important to him.
I wish I could be like that. I mean, if it were my boyfriend, I'd be like, you selfish jerk. You're going to spend our anniversary with a bunch of dorks dressed like Count Chocula. Well, have a good time, freak, because when you get home, I'm going to punch your fangs down your throat. Well, pass the ketchup anyway.
Denise passes the ketchup, is clearly pondering what Carrie has said. Through your living room, TV on. Guys are hanging out watching TV. Spence is kind of down. Doug is eating a Whopper.
I don't know what got into her. She won't let me miss our anniversary for the Dark Shadows convention. Said she'd punch my fangs down my throat. Oh, it's very disturbing.
Something wrong with your Whopper?
No. Why?
Because it's still there.
Yeah, you know what it is? The pre-dinner Whopper used to be my favorite part of the day. Now that I don't have to hide it from Carrie, it's just a gross, disgusting habit.
It was always that.
Yeah, I know. But all the hiding things, all the ducking and weaving, it's over. And I got to tell you, I miss the thrill of the dance.
Dark Shadows isn't like Star Trek. They don't have conventions every weekend. I miss this one. I'm looking at a 3-year dry spell. I can't survive in just the chat room.
You quit bitching about it already?
Hey, I spent $75 on a Barnabas Collins costume. Now it's worthless. Just worthless.
So just go to the stupid convention.
I can't. Denise will hate me.
Oh, please. This is so easy to pull off.
What do you mean?
Well, you just have somebody from work call you and make sure Denise picks up. The work friend pretends she's from the Dark Shadows convention, says, hey, she's sorry to hear you're canceling. Denise will be touched. think you're the greatest guy in the world. A few days later, the same person leaves another message saying she's sorry, but they can't refund your money like they thought. Denise will feel so bad, she'll send you there in a freaking limo.
Wow, that's brilliant.
I know.
Interior living room later. Carrie enters through the front door. Doug enters from the kitchen. They eye each other tentatively, that old comfort level gone.
Hey,
Hey.
you have a good afternoon?
Yeah. You?
Sure.
Carrie notices something on the coffee table.
See, you had a Whopper again.
No. Actually, I didn't have a Whopper.
Okay, what do you mean? I'm staring directly at a piece of lettuce, and the only lettuce you let come near you is on a hamburger.
Well, I was thinking about it, and you're right. I should be eating healthier, so I got a salad.
You got a salad?
Yeah.
What kind?
Ensalada primavera.
If you're lying, I'll find out. And I'll kill you.
I know.
Okay, then.
And we're back.
Carrie continues up steps. They make their way to the couch. They both stop, look at each other, smile warmly as they continue on their way. Interior Spence's apartment a few days later. Denise is wailing on Spence, who's in full Barnabas Collins costume and trying to shield himself.
You get some slut from work to make fake phone calls for you? What kind of idiot do you think I am? If you pull a stunt like that again, I will beat you to within an inch of your life!
Exhilarated as we end of Act 2.
That was fantastic.
Nice work with the props. Tag, living room, bedroom night. Carrie pops in a video, sits on the couch. Sound of beach music and teenage girls giggling. Carrie's eyes narrow. In the bedroom, Doug is lying on the bed reading a magazine.
Doug, this is not terms of endearment.
Oh, crap.
That's our table read, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh.
Stroll down memory lane. That was great.
Yeah, we missed that audience, huh?
Very different without the laughs.
Yeah.
My instinct wants to go over to Kraft right now and get a second breakfast. I don't know why.
I know.
Go get food.
I was actually thinking how I miss your mom's cackle, Leah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Vicky cackle.
You know what? I shouldn't have had my mom here. I can't believe I didn't.
That's what it was.
Oh.
I want to thank our wonderful guest star then and now, Rachel Dratch.
Yeah.
Hey.
Guys.
Thank you so much,
you,
Rachel.
Ray.
See you at the next reunion.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, Rachel.
Bye,
Bye,
Rach.
baby.
My cheeks hurt from laughing. Y'all are amazing.
Well, thank
Thank
you
you.
for having us.
I just wanted to take a moment right now to acknowledge someone that could not be here with us today, the wonderful Jerry Stiller, in an attempt to pay tribute to this infinitely talented man. We've created a short video celebrating him. So let's all take a moment and take a look at that now.
How dare you! Don't tell me!
Marvelous. I always said I learned more about myself being an actor than I ever learned about acting. That's the way I felt about the King of Queens. The chemistry started almost immediately. They treated me as if I was their father or father-in-law, and I'd known people very much like that most of my life. I'm from New York. I lived in Queens. I lived in Brooklyn. I lived in the Bronx.
He made it from nothing. He had this dream of being an actor, really an American dream story. Left the house at 17, joined the Army. He had a crazy childhood growing up during the Depression. I think he had all this stuff inside of him that he kept down, but he was such a kind person that he'd only let it out in his work.
I'm literally 20 feet away from the front door to this playhouse, and it was that very door that a 15-year-old Jerry in 1942 was apparently walking by on Grand Street on Lower East Side in New York City, and he heard a piano playing right on this stage behind me. And Jerry describes that it gave him a feeling of serenity that he never felt before.
Work was his life, and acting was what kept him young, what kept him going, and the camaraderie that he had with his fellow actors on the show, I know, meant so much to him.
So the first time I met Jerry Stiller was on The King of Queens.
Three people can't play golf together? It's not sex, for God's sakes.
The most exciting part was getting to meet Jerry Stiller. My favorite character, Kevin James, very funny. Very funny. But without a doubt, Jerry Stiller was my favorite character on the show. I saw Jerry on The Tonight Show. I saw Stiller and Mira. I mean, I knew he was a genius way back.
Jerry Stiller was one of the funniest people I've ever had the pleasure to work closely to, and so kind and loving and just a father figure to me.
He was an actor's actor. I can't tell you how many actors I've spoke to who just appreciated him.
Jerry was just, a really humble man. He's a very sweet man. And obviously that used to radiate out into the audience.
I never can tell whether anything is funny till I'm on my feet with it. But when I'm reading the script with my wife, Ann, she tells me it's funny.
Would you like to come over for dinner tomorrow so we can, discuss things further?
I'd be delighted.
Jerry's relationship with Ann Mira was such a beautiful one to watch and to emulate. He just adored her. They were hilarious, just icons in the field of comedy.
Well, must be very late. What is it, 10, 10:30?
6:45.
Right.
I never go out and say this is funny or I think I'm funny. I just behave the way I behave, and I've gotten away with it. Somebody once said, you're a comedian by accident. And I said to myself, well, that's the best way a comedian should be.
I think the writing for him got even better on the show as the show went on, as there was sort of a psychic sense about him, and they incorporated his idiosyncrasies into the part.
Before I went on, I would pray. I didn't know whether I was going to know any of my lines.
Silent night, holy
night.
Thank you, darling. I'd grab Kevin or Leah out of the dressing room. Let's go with the lines. They were announcing our names to the audience. You want to run it? Sure, we'll run it. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. We do it, ba-dum. Go out, and in some magical way, it worked.
1. Yeah. 6. Yep. 10. I already dialed the 6. I can't go back in time and slip a 1 in. Well, whose fault is that?
He was a consummate professional, not only a wonderful, sweet guy, but a consummate professional, rehearsed longer and harder than anyone on our show.
He showed up with a script that was covered in highlighter and marked up and tabs and Post-its and corners folded down and paper clips flying everywhere. It was amazing to watch.
He was sort of famous for being seen at the pool in his robe, going over his lines. Wouldn't go swimming, he just put the robe on. He included my mom, my sister, us, the family. He wanted everybody to share in his success.
My dad made everybody feel like family. The cast and the crew had this camaraderie with him.
He never was cynical. He just loved it. From the 50s into the 90s and beyond, he was just so brilliant. You didn't give notes to Jerry Stiller. Like, you gave him a line and then you just stood back and watched.
Darling, question for you. Do you find me sexually attractive?
The funny thing to me also was that he had all this kind of crazy rage that he would have on the show. And in reality, he was just the most gentle, sweet guy who would never do that.
You want some more? Here's some more. Crawl for it. Go ahead, crawl for it. Actually, I need that back.
Oh God, he would floor me. He would, some of the stuff, the uniqueness of his delivery, of even his physicality. You know, his whoop, hop.
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you? Don't tell me! Up yours.
Hello, darling.
Marvelous.
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 Douglas!
Douglas?
Jerry Stiller, one of a kind.
Whoever the people are out there watching right now, I got to tell you, I love you as much as you said you love me.
clearly just the memory there brought a lot of emotion to everyone, from laughs, tears, just thinking back about this remarkable human being that you all shared the screen with and a life with. Do you have anything that you want to start off saying?
Yeah, I mean, that was a really beautiful video put together by our friends at Sony. And, you know, I mean, as lovely as it is to get together with all of you guys, you know, and reunion this way, you know, Jerry's not being part of it is very bittersweet. I mean, he was the soul of the show in a very real way. You know, he grounded us. He was a veteran who, I think, on camera and off camera really, you know, had a history and a professionalism that I think we all fed off of and made the show just grow deeper. And it's really, you know, he lived a long, full life, but nevertheless, no matter how good a life and long a life somebody leads, when they're gone, it's, you know, you really feel the loss. It's just sort of surreal that they don't exist anymore. You know, we can't go to New York and stop in and see Jerry in Riverside Drive and say, how you doing? You know, it's really, he was a beautiful, beautiful man, and he's responsible for the fact that we're all here doing this right now. It never would have happened without him.
Kevin and Leah, I know both of you too, and everyone else, again, the emotions are still bringing it back, watching him on the screen. And was there any moments that really stood out where you shared a moment with him on that set?
Go ahead, Lee.
You know, Jerry, like he mentioned and his family mentioned, was very much the role behind the scenes. He was the dad. He was the one in his undershirt after the show wrapped. You know, Jerry could have been in the first scene, and, you know, they said, it's okay for you to go. You don't have to stay all night, you know, while we're filming. And he would stay, and he'd be in his undershirt and pants. And he, you know, there was a bar set up, like he said, because Jerry knew that most people who came to the show wanted to meet Jerry. You know, they get our picture, or they, you know, sign the script, and they'd be like, is Jerry here? Is Jerry here? Because he talked to everybody. And it was never like, hey, I gotta go. It was, you know, it didn't matter. It didn't matter who they were. Oftentimes Jerry didn't know who they were. You know, it would be one of our cameramen's wives, or, you know, and he would just talk to you because he just loved people, and he was so gracious in that way. It was just that he was that guy that just was willing to tell you a story, and many stories, and, you know, which you couldn't share in. You know, he had such an amazing career that you're like, oh yeah, I don't have anything to add on to that. And he was just a gracious, gracious human being in that way.
He was, and he cared so much about you. You know what I'm saying? Like when you talk to him, and when he wanted, I remember there was one taping we had where I was sick beforehand, and I remember I was like feeling really, I don't know if I could do the show. I had stomach pains and everything like that, and everybody was trying to give me the tea and the thing, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle this, man. I'm not feeling good. And Jerry came backstage before, you know, to my dressing room, and he goes, can I help you? And I go, Jerry, I'm just not feeling great, buddy, tonight. He's like, and he didn't care about the show. Like, it wasn't about getting the show to go on. He cared about me. And I remember him going, lay down. And I laid down, and I was like, and he goes, lift up your shirt. And anybody who doesn't know Jerry, he's got massive hands and massive feet.
Yeah,
I'll leave it. That's just right. Tremendous. Like, yes. And he goes, lift up your shirt. And I go, I'm sorry. He goes, yeah, get it up. And I had to get it up. He goes, a little bit more. So I pull it up. I'm laying on my couch, and he whacks his hands together like Mr. Miyagi, you know, and he does the whole thing. He really did it. He starts heating up his hands. I'm looking at Sussman like, what is going on here? And he puts his hands on my stomach, you know, with good pressure. And he just, you know, I thought it was gonna be one of those things where he just moves your stomach around and then leaves. He was there for like an uncomfortably long, like a very long time, where he's just looking right in my eyes, and I didn't know what to do. I'm just kind of looking at him, and I'm like, honestly, a minute went by where just nothing was said, and his hands were hot, and I was like, and then he pulls them off. And I don't know if it was placebo or whatever, or I just wanted him off of me. But I instantly felt better and was able to do the show. But he wanted to be there because he cares about, like, as soon as he heard, he didn't care about the doctors or anybody else. He wanted to be there for me,
Yeah.
And he's just, I miss him so much, man. He's just the greatest. Like Ben said in the thing, a lot of people see him how he acts, and he's always the cranky old man yelling and screaming, but it was never the way he was. He's an angel, man. He's a great man.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Just to tag on what Leah said, he was, first of all, the brilliance of him. He's so different from how he was on camera.
Yes.
But I would have buddies from New York come out and wanted to meet him. And I said, Jared, do you have a couple minutes? And he'd be there for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yep.
Literally an hour and a half. I had to pull my friends away and go, look, let's leave him alone. And then every Christmas, getting a card and a tie from him. Like, I didn't even thought about giving him a Christmas gift, and he's giving me a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
And one time I had to go to the Chateau Marmont. I was helping him write some comedy stuff. He was going to do some live stuff. We ended up just laughing. He was just such a pleasant person.
Yeah.
And I just loved his body. I loved looking at him at craft services. It looked like he wore his belt around his knees. Like it was so low, and he's just such a good guy.
Yeah, he's like everybody's dad. He's like
comfort. Yeah, exactly. It was a comfort.
Exactly.
Vic, what did you want to say, Vic? I thought you said something.
I was just saying what Gary was saying was like with the gifts. Like I remember like the show was over, and years later, still getting cards and from Jerry. It was phenomenal.
I know.
I just remember, I've never forgotten this. There's a scene in an early episode where he comes in the kitchen and, Kevin's standing there and his line is, good morning, Douglas. It's not a joke line. They're just starting the conversation. And that line got such a huge laugh. The way he said it was complete abandon. It actually got such a laugh. It threw the rhythm off, and they had to retake the beginning.
Right.
Almost tell the audience without telling them, like, hey, don't laugh at that line. Right. But it was so, he could get laughs with just, hello. I don't know how he did it. It was amazing.
And oftentimes we would do that. Like, we would laugh because Jerry would be in the middle of something and he'd go,
yes.
Rolling, and we're laughing, and Jerry would open his eyes and he'd be like, what's so funny? And we were like, you, Jerry, you.
Yeah.
No, it's you kids. It's you
very
kids.
Hard, very
no,
hard.
you.
No, it's you. We're all cracking up. I mean,
and then the neck slap too. That's when he was trying to remember a line.
Yeah.
Just be like, to see the.
Yeah.
That's the difference between. Hello, Douglas, is the difference between a funny line, funny writers, and a funny person. Like he just, everything about him, you're just on the edge of your seat watching him.
Yeah.
And man, that's a gift I don't know if we'll ever see again. He just was just the greatest.
Yeah. The word gift is overused, but that's what, because you couldn't understand how he was doing it. Like, you're like, I don't even, how is that even happening? Right. And he could, and then he would do it something different and it would be just as funny, but totally different. What I remember is, I was the dog walker with him. And so we'd often enter a scene together, me, him, and 5 dogs. And so we would be standing off stage quietly, as they're talking and making jokes and there's laughs in the audience. And we're quietly, and he's, going over his lines in his head, and he didn't you didn't just want to be distracted in those moments. But the dogs, obviously are dog, and they're doing, and he would always just really, without being just kindly reach down and go like, hello. He never didn't want to acknowledge them.
Yeah, even the dogs.
Dogs that were just like, oh.
By the way, Nicole, I laughed so hard at your line about I bought the dogs treats and Arthur got jealous, so I had to buy him marshmallow peeps, which, you delivered it perfectly, but I could totally visualize him getting angry and having it, and you've got to figure out, I'll get you some peeps. Just the thought of thinking of him made me crack up.
And I think that goes to, that speaks to why the show, right? That you can envision a scene that you have never seen, but you could envision Jerry being irate about that, like being so
And to
upset.
Michael, and what Michael did, like adding this dog walker character who's walking him, and you can imagine exactly the relationship he's got with her about the jealousy of the dogs. Like, it doesn't seem weird at all. Like, Michael just was like, this is what it's going to be, and it worked.
And Jerry eating in a scene was the greatest thing to me, like, because he's such a great, I always thought that he really got his nutritional value from meals in the show. Like, that's what
one
he
of the
did.
funniest ones. One of the funniest ones was with the cereal with you when you're left alone there.
Yes.
Oh, he's eating the cereal, and you just watch him. He's just in his own little world.
Oh, and he would do it in rehearsal. He would eat in it didn't matter because it was his process.
There was one episode where they put the baby monitor camera in his basement so they could watch him. So it was me and Gary and Victor were watching him, but like we got into watching him like it was a reality show. And as funny, like, we had to mime that we were like, oh my God, he's picking up the sock. However, the footage of him just alone in his room was genuinely hilarious. Of just him moving his laundry. I don't know. Oh my God! It just
like a silent film. Yeah.
Yes, it was. Oh my God!
Same thing with the dancing scene. Remember in the basement, Michael, when he put the record on, and he was just so funny.
You know, it's funny in the reel at the beginning that smell me I had asked for that to be in the reel, and also not trim out any of the laughs in there, because that for me was like a revelatory moment. It was very early. It was one of the first few episodes. And where I really understood what we had with Jerry Stiller, which was a consummate actor. You know, he said in the reel, I was a comedian by accident, which I thought was a really cool way of putting it, because he was never trying to be funny.
Right.
We wrote this absurdist stuff for him. Like in this case, the fact that he bought this deodorant which promises to make you smell like a meadow after a morning rain, and he put it on, and I'm not sure I do, and he goes up to find out and smell me, and once Doug verifies that he doesn't smell like a meadow in the morning rain, those bastards, but the investment in the anger and feeling that he was taken, he did not play it for a laugh. He played it as if he had really been ripped off, like he'd been bought a car and been, it was a lemon, something where in real life, in a non-comedic setting, you would really be that angry. And he put all that anger absolutely unselfconsciously into this deodorant, not doing what they said. And that was, and add to that his physicality and just his wonderful oddness. And you had a character that just came to life, and we could write for him the most, extreme, ridiculous things, as long as it had some one root into some human emotion or feeling. Right. Jerry would play that emotion and imbue the absurdist thing with all of it. And that's why it works so well.
Another thing that made me laugh so hard were his exits. I mean, comedy, you see like Kramer-esque entrances, these big entrances you get. He would leave a scene and floor me, just the way he would leave and just huff out or whatever it is. He's just had such a gift. It was just amazing.
There was one like that when the first episode that Nicole was in, where he's tricked into thinking this is just a student who wants to talk to him and take walks with him to pick his brain about World War II or something. Then he finds out she's a dog walker, and that this whole thing was that they were paying him to walk him, and he comes in for dinner, and he takes his dinner and he says, "Oh, you don't want me to eat here, you want me to eat there," and he puts it in a bowl on the floor. "That's where you want me to eat, right?" And he starts to exit, and he goes back and he picks up the bowl and a fork. And he did one of those moments you're talking about. I can't even do it. Just go back and find the episode.
Yes.
But it was just one of those brilliant exits where he just capped the whole thing just instinctively and beautifully.
Yep.
Michael, did you want to touch on that story? You said he almost was not in it.
Yeah, well, Jerry nearly wasn't in the pilot, in the show, and there wouldn't have been a show. So he nearly wasn't in the thing that wouldn't have happened without him. We were putting the series together. It was written for Kevin by David Litt and myself. And we went out, and Leah was, took some courting. We finally got her. And then the role of Arthur obviously was the next key. And we met with Jerry, and, I'd never met him. I don't think you had met him either, Kevin, right? And he was, not, you know him from Frank Costanza or, stand-up comedy with Ann. And he was just the most soft-spoken, sweetest guy, the opposite of his on-screen persona in some ways. And he would talk in these sort of non sequiturs and chuckle to himself, and you'd be laughing along and trying to, what did you just say? Trying to kind of, but it was so charming and wonderful. We knew that this was the guy, and we offered him the role, and we were in negotiations, the studio was. And then oddly, with a few days to go before the pilot, he pulled out of the negotiation. He said he didn't want to do it. I got the word. I said, what? And I tried to call him in New York, and he wouldn't take the call. And we just told it's dead. It's not happening. We cast Jack Carter, who was a very good actor, and did a good
stand-up.
Yeah, and he was a contemporary of Jerry's, and he was fine. And we turned the pilot, the rough cut, into the studio network, and all the enthusiasm for the project that I'd been hearing in their voices was sort of gone. And Jack Carter was fine, so they would say, "What's wrong with this?" And they went after Leah. They're saying, "She's too harsh. She's too mean. Cut this line. Find a softer take of this line." And I was like, "Guys, she's not the problem. We hired Leah Remini. This is what she does. This is who she is. We don't want her softer and nicer. She and Kevin have to." But I knew that we were probably sunk. And I just threw a Hail Mary, and I called Jerry's agent and I said, "Look, as a professional courtesy, can we ask Jerry to just look at the shot pilot and see what we have here with Kevin and Leah, and the rest of the cast and the tone of the show?" And I thought the chances were 1 in 1,000 that would work. But sure enough, a couple of days later, Jerry changed his mind and was back in, and we quickly, got him back to LA and shot some scenes for the pilot to replace. There was a pilot with half Jack Carter, half Jerry, because we didn't have time to shoot.
Right. Yeah.
But he just elevated the whole thing. And it's funny because I always wanted to ask him, Jerry, what was going on when you backed out of those negotiations and didn't want to do it? But I was afraid to ask him because I had this irrational fear that I would bring it up and he'd remember and decide not to do the show again, like whatever it was that he'd say, "Oh yeah, I didn't want to do it. I'm out of here."
It was a private jet. I had to tell him, "Go for it, Jerry."
Yeah, but we came within a hair's breadth of not having him, and thus not having a show. I'm quite sure we wouldn't have. So shall we raise a glass to our friend Jerry?
I love it. Let's do it.
Here's everyone.
To Jerry Stiller.
Jerry Stiller.
Well, we can all agree that he was meant to be. He is Arthur, and he's supposed to be there. And I'm glad that it all happened this way. And he is watching this right now, and he's with us. So I'm glad we had that toast. I'm glad we got to honor him as well. Some of your fans have questions for y'all. Are we into this? Are we ready for some?
Yes, love it.
Do it.
Okay. Who was the favorite guest star for each of you? Who would you say? If you could choose one, I know that's hard. You had a lot, but if you could choose one.
I feel like I was.
Well, we weren't a guest. Nick, you weren't a guest.
No, you're family, Nick.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to say my husband. My husband, who I got to make out with in a scene. He played the exterminator in one of the scenes, and the boys wanted to embarrass us, so they wrote a scene where we had to kiss.
I remember the scene, Nick. All right, because I was going for you, and you went for him. So whatever.
That's right. I dumped him for Jason. Yeah.
I really liked Eric Roberts for this prank that he played at the first table read. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, where he started reading the script in this really weird voice, and you could see all the producers like, "Oh God, what is he doing?" And then he was like, "Guys, I'm kidding." And then he just read it, and it was great. But getting to do a scene with Lou Ferrigno and Adam West was pretty amazing. Adam West was delightful. He was exactly how you'd want him to be. It was fantastic. I love that.
There was so many that were really great that coming on, but the guy that played my dad, Gavin McLeod, he was just juicy and delicious. That guy is just, he's like Jerry, another form of Jerry.
Yes.
And the background and the stories that he had, from Mary Tyler Moore to, Love Boat and all this other stuff. I mean, he's just great. And just a sweetheart of a man. I mean, as we all know. He's just a great guy. But I spent a lot of time with him and became friendly with him afterwards too. We would socialize. So he was really nice.
I love Ricky Lake. I think I was always fascinated by this idea of like, all right, who's this crazy guy, and who could possibly be like his sibling, his sister. So I was always fascinated whenever Ricky showed up.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because
There are. It's
we had Gene Lynch on, like you said, Bryan Cranston, like Lou Ferrigno, like we had amazing. But to say a favorite, is hard to say.
My
both
favorite.
Our spouses on our show. I would have to say Sophia. Sophia was in my belly.
Yeah.
When I shot an episode.
Too bad Cranston's career peaked at that point.
Yeah.
By the way, told both of them.
Yeah.
When we were with them, Jay Lynch said, we want 10% of whatever happens to you after.
Yeah.
My favorite guest star had to be Burt Reynolds because, and I have a picture of my dad, me and Burt together that is just awesome. I was such a huge fan of all his movies and, The Longest Yard and gosh, all the Smokey and the Bandit and everything he did. And to have him on our show was just, it was one of those surreal moments where you're like, to get to talk to him about playing football and this and that and everything was just, it was amazing for me. It was really one of those moments where you're just like, what am I doing here?
I also think it's pretty cool that the entire Stiller family has been on the King of Queens.
Yes, we had Anne, we had Ben, we had Amy. Amazing.
Yeah.
Love Amy. Yeah.
This is for Kevin. How did you get so good at pole dancing?
I remember I trained. Didn't we have somebody come in?
No, Kevin, you didn't train. Okay, so I guess I need to answer it because it's like Kevin, of course, forgets. They hired somebody to come on the set and teach us. And I was like, okay. So I got on the pole real quick just to show everybody I know how to work a pole. It is so difficult. So then I go to Kevin. I go, by the way, this is no joke, man. I thought I can do it. I was very wrong, Kevin. You need to get on that damn pole before because this is no joke. He was like, I'm good. I go, that's what I thought. You would think that, but I thought that too. And I think I dislocated my shoulder. I'm telling you, I can't even hold myself up, Kevin. And I go, and if I can't hold myself up,
I know.
We did it once in front of the audience. And I go, I'm telling you, Kevin, this is going to really screw you up because you didn't really rehearse it. He gets on the pole and what you see is actually what was his first take.
It was very fortunate because only because I knew
upside down, babe.
Yeah. But I knew that even if it was bad, this is why I didn't want to learn from a professional and do it and put all the time into it. Whatever came out, hopefully would be funny,
Not only was it funny and I was hysterical laughing, but I was also secretly really mad and jealous because he was doing tricks. And I got in trouble because I turned around at one point. Rob Schiller, who was on our director said, Leah, I cannot shoot you if your back is to the camera. And I'm like, just cut to Kevin. And Kevin's crying, laughing now because I'm laughing, but I could not imagine. He was so good on the pole that it was embarrassing. And I worked at it and you see what you see. Not great.
Let me just say this. Couple things was my legs skin caught sliding down. That hurt like crazy. And the other one thing was when I try to get up, I do a slow get up with my head and I am a hair from going right back down. I used every muscle in my body to get it up. It's really a little slow. You see it. It's almost like painful.
And that moment is sublime. People just kind of, it blows their mind. And the fact that you were able to do that and do it without, a team of trainers helping you, whatever, is just insane.
But that all these guys know that with an audience, gets the adrenaline flowing and stuff, you do things that, you'll do it for the laugh.
What did I say earlier? I said he coached all week and then
right.
Wow.
we are seeing him do something for the first time, it's very hard to not break character.
Yeah, it was fun.
Like Kevin would have to say, I'm going to do something, Leah, so try to keep it together. And I was like, I'm good. Like, you're not that funny.
Well, the one thing I didn't want to do, if you did something physical, is have it not be usable because you broke or I broke or anybody, that's the one thing you're like, all right, I'm going to throw my ass out there. Do not laugh at this.
Well, they have multiple cameras. I never understood that. I was like, just cut.
Yeah.
Cut.
Kevin, there's another one for you here. How long will it be before I stop pronouncing Domino's as Domino's?
That was the writing, right? I mean, that wasn't.
Well, that pizza bit was based on one of your Kevin's stand-up routines about phone number rhythm, which we spent, and we were talking early on. We were basically trying to squeeze whatever comedy we could out of Kevin's stand-up, and so that was one of the jokes I think that we came up with, was that he didn't even realize that it was pronounced Domino's.
I remember it all the time, just because I think about it to this day, just because that bit was part of the warm-up for every Friday.
Oh, that's right. They would play it.
Yeah.
Right.
It was just like, I think it was for every season, for all 9 seasons. That was part of the opening sort of warm up.
The reel, like there was like a highlight reel, and that was one of right, Vic. Yeah.
The audience sort of like hyped up and really sort of like in the right place. And so to this day, it's just ingrained in me.
You're not a fan of the bit. I apologize, guys. I'm sorry you had to hear that from me.
And how much of the show was ad-lib? Like, who jumped in and did it? How much were we sticking to?
It was more second takes on writers that had different takes on things. Occasionally, I guess people would improv little things once we had the scene shot and we knew we were covered. But most of the time, it was just the writers had the best stuff.
Kevin, you would add little things, like if you were in the moment, like when you're in the zone in a moment, it's working, that's right, sugar mama, you'd add something like that, some little tag or something.
Usually what the writers would come up with was the gold.
So this is the last fan question, and I just want to see if show of hands in a world of reboots, would we be down for a King of Queens reboot? Show of hands.
Oh, hell yes.
So that'd be a blast.
Do you have any idea what the salary would be? Is that, should we wait? I'll ask later. We don't have to take this
time. Tell me right now. I will take season 1 money.
Oh my, whoa! You're gonna regret that.
Yeah.
I will take Leah's season 1 money.
Hold her to that, Michael. Hold her to that.
If season 3 money is available, then I'll take that. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I'm curious. And like I said earlier, I don't know who's on, but I was lucky enough to be able to do a show with Kevin 2 years ago, and I was just ecstatic to be next to Kevin, to be working with him again. I cried more about that than the actual work. Like it just having to be with him, laugh with him every day. We're older now, and what was important then is not as important as you get older. And I just being able to laugh with him again, and like he couldn't get rid of me. I was in his dressing room all the time. And when we first started King of Queens, it's like I was in my camp, he was in his, you know what I mean? He's busy, I'm busy, we're all, super obsessed with our lives. And then it turned into, me going into your room every morning. I would go into your room first, and I would stay there. Oftentimes you had to tell me to leave. Like I have to work and I need you to actually leave the room.
Coffee, eating together, all the stuff in the group. And it was the same thing. I mean, I would love to, that's the one thing you'd like to do. I'd like to do another shot with the King of Queens group, because to have even more gratitude, not that, like to have been through it and to appreciate it now, to really relish the moments of, of waiting there backstage and rehearsing and going through lines and watching other people and taking your time with things. And it definitely would be something I was like, ooh,
An amazing blessing. Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, the table read amazing. This show is so beautiful. And again, just hearing how everyone was cast and how they came together to get back into that role, to raise your hand and say yes to a reboot. Everything that you've experienced here. Do you remember that very first day walking on set?
Yes, well, I remember two things. I remember first getting there and going, oh, this is an actual. Like I guessed it on a couple shows, but to be shown a dressing room and go, oh, okay, I guess this is real. And then I also remember shooting the pilot, which took till like I think it was 4 a.m. It was a long time.
Yes.
And there's a scene where we're all sitting on the bed and we're trying to watch this big screen TV, and I fell asleep in between
I remember that.
bed, and then I dreamed that I was back in my apartment on Normandy Avenue, and that I wasn't. And then when I woke up, it was the most surreal. Like, did I wake up into another dream where I'm on this sitcom and I'm acting? It was very, very strange. This whole new world, which now feels very natural to me now, but there were certain rhythms that I just didn't have. Especially Kevin and Leah, just because Kevin was already such a ringer on Everybody Loves Raymond, and Leah has been doing it forever, and of course Jerry. So they could just master these sitcom rhythms, and I was still trying to figure out where do I drop my. It felt very weird, but it was also exhilarating.
I look at you. I look at that. Those rhythms were not nailed. Like I look at the earlier years. Two things I look at to try to find out. I go what weight I am at, and I try to say what season it matches up with. I remember getting, I can try to do that, but also how big I was in certain things and over the top. So like I would love to be able to do things and feel like you've done it a bit more where you can kind of approach it in a different way. I look at lines, I'm like, I'm still editing the show. I'm still like, why did I go so big there? Just go a little smaller on this one, or go bigger here, or I don't know. That means, but you're in it, and it was just so good.
Yes. The writing was so good. The writers were so good on that show. My God.
Yeah.
And thank you on their behalf. I loved our writing staff. I mean, it was just, by the time it sort of solidified into the core group that we had, with Tony Sheehan, David Litt, and Josh and Kathy, and David Bickel, and Alana Wernick, Chris Downey, Rock Rubin, it was just, I think back now, and just everybody brought something to the table that was unique and distinctive, and had certain aspects of the show that they were really, Alana Wernick, who wrote the episode we just read, could write those Doug and Carrie bedroom scenes like nobody else. I mean, she just had a way of writing that domestic stuff. Everybody had a strength. And as again, thinking about that group and this group and the crew that we had, it was, I look back now, I mean, when I feel like morose about my life, which is most of the time, I think about my kids, and then the next thing I think about is I got to be part of the King of Queens, which, I just like, that's enough. That's enough. I mean, I hope to live a little longer, but I did it. I kind of like had a fantastic experience that is very, very hard to make happen, and was thrilling to remember.
Again, thank you guys so much. It has been fun sitting here, reminiscing, going over everything, and I know you've all had a great time. Thank you for myself and the fans. Again, to everyone watching, if you can help out at all, check out the link for the Henry Street settlement, or go to the website to make a donation.
I love you guys, man. It's the greatest.
Thank you for
You guys are
loving
the best.
Thank you guys.
Love you guys.
I love you all. And Jerry, we miss you, man.
Yeah, amen.
Miss you, Jerry.